Hello, hola, bienvenidos. As you guys can see from the titulo, today we are going to do a little bit of swatchy and comparison to some palettes that I have in my collection. As you guys know, I love to do these with my Huda, my Natasha Denona palettes to show you guys either shop your stash, find what you have, see something similar, see if even the new color story is something that you want in your collection. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm very excited. I pulled out as many palettes as I possibly could that I felt like were similar vibes. I'm actually duping the vibes. I'm not necessarily duping shade for shade. You can obviously do that with your own collection if there's particular shades that you would want. But here, I just want to share with you guys the vibes, because most of the times we love the overall aesthetics of a palette and we may have something similar in our collection. So I have a list here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Obviously, before we get started, I want to share with you guys specifically the Pretty Grunge palette. This is the newest Huda Beauty. Oh my goodness gracious. Huda Beauty palette. This one really caught my attention. Natasha Denona came out with a new palette, and I was not really interested in that. I really wanted something like this, and sure enough, Huda delivered. This I can get behind. This is a cooler tone palette that I genuinely enjoy and love. I love these tones on myself, and I can see myself getting a lot of use out of this palette. This one I am super excited for. I did not expect to be as excited as I am. And when I saw it, I had to go ahead and get it. So obviously you guys know that it's your typical palette. She has the same plasticky packaging on there. It has the back on there so you guys can see that as well. You're getting your typical 18 shadows in here. One does look like it's that creamy one that I really can care less about. I really don't use it as a liner or as a base, but it is there if you are interested. She does have these shades in here that are kind of like that mystery kind of shadows, and I love that. I love that. So before we go ahead and compare, I'm going to go ahead and swatch this palette for you guys. I have yet to touch it, as you guys can see. I have not dug into this. So we're going to go ahead and dig in together so we can see all the colors. And I will go down. As you guys know, most people go across. I want to go down. I always like to switch it up so you guys can see the palette in a different light. All right, you guys, as you guys can see, here's the palette. I have fallen in love with it even more swatching it out. And surprise, surprise, you have your cream shade all the way up here, as well as this one right here. It is a creamy shadow. You guys saw me struggle a little bit with spreading it out, but it's one of those creamy textured ones that she does often in her palettes. So I'm actually really liking this palette. I kind of feel like this might be more closer to like the nude palette from Natasha Denona as far as the way that I'm gonna love it. So now that we have seen all of this swatch and seen the textures of it, let's compare it to the other palettes. So when I first looked at this palette, I automatically thought of the Stone Cold Fox palette from ColourPop. This one obviously has a lot more shades, has about like 30-ish shades. I can't remember how many there are. Let me see if I can count really fast. Yeah, 30 shades. I was right. Go Alex, some math. Okay, so as you guys can see, there is some similarities, overlaps. You're getting your black here. You're getting a little bit of warmer tones throughout, as you guys can see, but not the whole palette will be. You're getting those rosy tones that she's throwing in here. I think the major difference between both of these is, one, you're getting more shades in the ColourPop than you are in the Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty is offering that creamy shadow over here, as well as this one. You're also getting these kind of shades in here that are more of a dimensional shade than you are here. Here you're getting more of like your shimmery shades. This one may look like it's a dimensional one, but it's more of like this matte with a blue sparkle to it, but it's not anything out of the ordinary or amazing compared to the ones you're going to get in here. So it's more of like, do you like these textures? Do you want these textures? Do these textures crease on your eyes? That's one thing that you do have to consider. This is more of your safe spot. You're getting a little bit more variety, but you're getting similar vibes. Almost similar vibes. The warms, the rosies, the black, the purples. This one goes a little bit deeper as far as the depths of these shades. Like this deep plum purple, I don't see it anywhere in here, but you are getting like more gray in here, more gray taupey shades. So this is the first palette that I would think that if you are considering this one, is this something that satisfies your thirst, or do you want those fun shades that she has in here? Now, many of you may have thought that the Natasha Denona Glam the Glam palette would be a dupe, but it is not. And I wanted just to bring this out just to make sure, because I know that some people may comment down below stating, oh, you should have compared it to this one because this is considered more of her smoky, cool tone palette. But as you guys can see, it's totally different. This is a lot warmer tone. This one doesn't have your purples in there, the mauve shades. This one does. And obviously these shades are not going to be these reflective shades. You also don't get a cream in here as well. So, and this one you can rearrange if you want. The most boring thing that this palette has is the names. But other than that, it's a beautiful palette. But I don't see this being apples to apples. I see this more being like a cousin to this one, helping you out, filling in the gaps, but not necessarily being the vibes. I feel like these two are very different from one another. I wanted to share this palette in particular. This palette is the Grunge palette from Give Me Glow. It has since been discontinued, but if you do own it, I did want to bring this up because this may be something you have, maybe something that you might be good enough with. This one, as you can tell, has that vibiness, but this is a lot more pigmented, punchier in your face, and less shades overall. You're getting the blacks, the brown, the purples are a lot deeper and more vibrant than these would be. These are more mauves, but you're still getting some tones of mauves in here, and these, obviously these shades right here. So if you are looking for more of a condensed shade, and if you have this one, you can pull that one out. I do not know if Give Me Glow sells these particular ones in singles. You can build this palette all over again, but you can pull from your singles and pull out. So I wanted to share this one with you guys. This is what the packaging of it is, just in case you were wondering. So it is the Grunge palette. It has since been discontinued, but I did feel like I kind of got similar vibes from it, just in a different direction, but still in the same, you know, journey as far as grunginess goes. Okay, here's another cool tone palette that I do own. This one is the Pretty Cool palette from Dose of Colors. This one is just a 5-pan palette, but I did want to share that with you guys because if you are just looking for the mattes and don't care to have all of these special shades and you really just want to stick to cooler tones, this might be something for you. It doesn't have the mauve shades. If you have the mauves and pair it with this one, you might get the majority of this. You do get a little bit of warmth over here, so you will be missing that. But overall, this is just something to compare it to. If you do have it, you can look at the difference, see the comparisons to it. And if this appeals to you and you want to add it in conjunction with this palette, I think it'll be nice. I like to compare or put these two together in a look. Okay, moving on. This is the Lorac Noir palette. This one is their cooler toned kind of palette, and you guys can see you're getting similar tones in here. You are getting those purpley shades, those taupey mauve shades. You're getting these sparkly shades. Now these are not as textured and as foiled as the ones you're going to get in the Huda Beauty one, but you are getting that. You are getting those prettiness in here. So don't think that just because this is, say, you are getting those pretty shades. If you are interested in something like that, the Pretty Grunge is obviously going to give it to you more in an impactful way. You're getting these cream shades. if you have this one, I think this is a really nice, sophisticated version of it. It's going in the same direction, but not exactly. I see the vibes in here. I see the vibes. The difference is obviously through the shimmer shades, and this one has more purple in it than these do, but you are still seeing it somewhere in this palette. So the Lorac Noir, not bad. It is not bad. It's closer than what I would have thought. I did not expect it to be as close, but it's a decent dupe, like a duping vibe, as you guys know. Up next, the infamous That's Taupe palette from ColourPop. Here is more of a condensed version. You're not getting much purple in here, mauve tones, and you're not really getting these creamy shades, these metallic-y foiled shades. You are getting like a super shock, but it's more of like a topper than anything. It's not really like this. This is like intense. Like you barely have to put your finger in there. Look at the difference between both of those. It's a lot, this has more pink to it. It's a lot more of a base to it. So I would feel like this is a cousin to the Pretty Grunge. It's not necessarily a sister. You are getting somewhat of similar vibes in here, but more of a condensed version. If you just want to stick to the mauve shade, like the brownie cooler tones, this would be something for you. This one obviously is expanded. It has the blacks, it has the creams, it has the little bit of warmth in there, a little bit of mauves. So I just wanted to compare both of these so you guys can see next to each other. So if you have this one, which the majority of people do, would this be something that would benefit or bring value to your makeup wardrobe? Last but not least is the ColourPop of Quartz palette. This is a palette that I've actually fallen in love with. Did not expect to fall in love with it last year, but I really have enjoyed it. This, as you can see, it's more of the grayish version of this. These are gray browns. You're getting more grays in here. A gray black, and then a black with some silver sparkle to it. So it's not necessarily the same, but it is in the same realm of it. So if you own this one, is this something that you would want in your collection, or are you satisfied with this one particularly? I like to just show them side by side because most of the time that really just takes away any doubt or any what ifs or maybe I could do it. So you can see them side by side and see which one would you prefer. Obviously, this is a lot more money than the ColourPop one. That's also into consideration. You can pop these out. You can't really pop these out, but the packaging and everything of this is part of the cost of why it is the way that it is. So just wanted to show you that one as well. All right, guys, so I've given you quite a bit of palettes to compare to the new Natasha Denona Pretty Grunge palette. As you guys can see, I don't have anything that is dead on as far as formula, color story, finishes, so on and so forth, but you can shop your stash and see what you have. I do enjoy doing these videos for you guys so you guys can see side by side. It wasn't really a swatch comparison for these palettes because none of these palettes really took everything out of here. It was more of duping the vibe, seeing what you have, pull them out of your collection. I think the closest one and the best one that I would feel would be the Stone Cold Fox. If you have the Stone Cold Fox, you might be okay with skipping out on this one if you don't care to have this cream shadow, these shifting shades, and you're content with what this gives you, then you really don't need this one. I think this is the closest one, not necessarily as far as finish or colors, but as far as the vibes go, and you're getting a lot more variety. You're getting almost double the amount of shadows for almost half the price of this specific palette right here. So I hope this was informational. I tried my best to figure out how to go about this one, knowing that I don't really have anything exactly like this to swatch comparison side by side, but I did have some palettes that may be in your makeup collection that you may have considered, well, is it the same? Do I get the same vibes? Is it repetitive in my collection? Do I want a palette that's the same? So that's all that I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for some looks with this palette. I am so excited to dig into this one and put it on my eyeballs because I'm just digging this color story. I don't know. I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. More videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, bye.